Kogarashi Fusora, a medium, can exorcise yokai with a single punch. He heads to Yuragi Inn, an old hot spring lodge rumored to be haunted. Kogarashi aims to banish the ghost and stay there, drawn by the cheap rent. At the hot springs, a ghost suddenly appears in the water. Kogarashi naturally is startled. The ghost, realizing Kogarashi can see her, blushes and unleashes her powers. Knocked out, Kogarashi later meets Chitose Nakai, the oldest resident who can manipulate luck. Nonko Arakabaki, often drunk, is an ogre whose strength increases with intoxication. She's also a manga artist. Her famous work, Boku no Asagiri Ameno, features a ninja exorcist who's the group's tsundere. Lastly, Ayaya Fushiguro is a girl possessed by a cat deity. Kogarashi enters the room and sees a butt sticking out of the wall. Realizing it's the ghost, he tries to pull her out. As he can see and touch her, she emerges. She shoots out suddenly, her rear end landing right on Kogarashi's face. She introduces herself as Yuuna-hana, the ghost of Yuragi Inn. Kogarashi can't exorcise her. He only knows how to punch spirits but won't hit a woman. Since Yuuna has nowhere else to sleep, they agree to share the room. Yuuna asks why he came. Kogarashi explains he was easily possessed by spirits as a kid. Even a financial spirit possessed him, leaving him homeless and in debt. That's why he became a medium. He then asks Yuuna about her lingering regret. He explains spirits can turn evil if they remain too long. So it's best to address regrets so they can rest in peace. A mouse appears, scaring Yuuna and triggering her poltergeist, which always activates when she's upset, sending Kogarashi flying out the window. This will be a daily occurrence. On the balcony, Yuuna ponders Kogarashi's kindness. Another medium arrives to forcibly exorcise her. Kogarashi lets it happen, thinking it's better than her becoming an evil spirit. Yuuna resists, having unfinished business and wanting to know Kogarashi better. Hearing this, Kogarashi breaks the medium's barrier, confronts and defeats him. Kogarashi then decides to help Yuuna with her unresolved issues. They visit Chisaki Miyazaki's school, a pretty girl often scouted as a model. Yuuna, able to change clothes by thought, lifts Chisaki's skirt. Kogarashi takes the blame. Yuuna tries changing clothes, but Kogarashi's suggestion to imagine herself always naked triggers her poltergeist. Kogarashi introduces himself as a medium and Yuuna as the poltergeist's cause, but the class laughs it off, except Chisaki. After class, Chisaki asks for his help with her moving stuffed animals, believing he's a real medium. At her house, Kogarashi starts hitting all of Chisaki's stuffed animals. Chisaki gets upset, not wanting her precious plush toys to be mistreated. Kogarashi asks Yuuna to look inside the toys, but one gives her a strange look. Yuuna's poltergeist activates out of fear, causing Kogarashi to end up in a compromising position with Chisaki. Chisaki then kicks them out of her house. After Chisaki's bath, her stuffed animals attack her. Kogarashi and Yuuna arrive, tracking down the culprit, Koyusu Shigaraki, a young girl with uncontrolled transformation powers, evident by her tail and ears. Koyusu was spying on Chisaki, envious of her breasts, hoping to have similar ones to feel grown up. Chisaki forgives her, but Koyusu takes the chance to closely examine Chisaki's chest. With nowhere else to go, Koyusu stays at the inn, her new breast paradise. As Yuuna's regret is unclear, Kogarashi asks what she wants to do. Yuuna reveals she's always wanted to go on a date, so she and Kogarashi head to the pool. Kogarashi does his best to make it feel like a genuine date. Order everything as a couple's deal, like the appetizer and ice cream, even if everyone stares. At night, while bathing, Yuuna thanks him. Kogarashi thinks he'd be sad when she finds peace and leaves. Genshiru, a spirit dragon, seeks a wife. His servant Oboro Shinto hits him for grabbing girls. They want a worthy bride with strong spiritual power. Then Genshiro spots Yuuna. Drawn by her beauty, he gets too close, making Yuuna uneasy and triggering her poltergeist. Seeing her power, Oboro approves. Koyusu, who's there, says Yuuna can't marry him as she has a boyfriend. They do things nightly, referring to Kogarashi. Genshiro takes her to his city. Koyusu alerts Kogarashi, and with Sagiri, they go to rescue Yuuna. Sagiri, in a skin-tight suit, and the tiny Koyusu approach Yuuna while Kogarashi acts as bait. Genshiru is asking about Yuuna when Sagiri and Koyusu arrive. Oboro appears, beats Sagiri, and captures both her and Kogarashi. Tearfully, Yuuna agrees to marry him if he lets them go. Enraged, Kogarashi tells Genshiru he even bathed with Yuuna. This angers him and he kicks Kogarashi flying. As he's about to finish him, Kogarashi defeats him with one punch, Saitama style. Oboro gets angry and attacks. Kogarashi defends but realizes she's female when her clothes tear. He's at a disadvantage, unable to hit women. The other girls arrive to help and reach an agreement with Oboro. When Genshiro wakes, Oboro says Yuuna and Sagiri were so happy someone loved them, they'll rest in peace. It was Koyusu who was projecting an image of them from afar. Genshiro believes it and lets them rest in peace. Oboro, seeing Kogarashi defeat his lord, wakes beside him and decides to have a child with him to strengthen the family he serves. At the school camp, everyone gets along, but two think Kogarashi's crazy and ghosts aren't real. Kogarashi and Yuuna couldn't care less. They're happy. As always, there's a beach episode and of course tentacles. A yokai octopus appears, troubling the girls, but Kogarashi defeats it and saves everyone. Even after all that commotion, those two still don't believe Kogarashi and think he's an idiot. So, Chisaki and the others plan to prove Kogarashi's abilities during the courage test, but when it starts, things don't go as planned. Kogarashi and Chisaki become a couple, but deep in the forest they spot a black vortex. It's a yokai about to devour them, but Kogarashi blocks it with his arm. Despite being a high-level yokai, its teeth shatter. It awoke because they kicked a stone where it was sealed. Kogarashi tells them to apologize. They do, and the yokai leaves peacefully. Now they respect Kogarashi more, though Chisaki's plan will fail. Chisaki reveals her plan to Kogarashi. He says it's normal they don't believe without seeing ghosts. He doesn't mind being seen as odd as long as he has her. Everyone sees how cool he can be. The bonfire dance begins. Yuuna's happy to see Kogarashi. He dances with her to make her happier, ignoring his reputation since no one else sees her. He wants Yuuna happy, leading to a surreal moment. To everyone else, Kogarashi seems to be dancing alone. Yuuna asks him to stop, worried about his reputation, but Kogarashi says he only cares about her happiness. Tearfully grateful, Yuuna experiences her first bonfire dance. It's a beautiful moment. At the beach, they hear a legend of a woman forced to marry who tried to elope but lost her lover in an accident. They say she's still there waiting for him. Yuuna weeps at the tragic tale. Kogarashi decides to help this restless spirit. They arrive and meet Ami, spotting her boyfriend Yasuhisa in the distance. Unable to move, Ami watches as Kogarashi and Yuuna approach Yasuhisa, assuming he's also bound there. In reality, he's just paralyzed by fear. He thinks Ami no longer loves him because she died due to him, and he's at a loss for words. Kogarashi forces him by threatening exorcism. What should have been a nice reunion turns into a flurry of punches. He has his reasons, but they talk it out as communication is key. He apologizes, and having resolved their regrets, they embrace and vanish. Kogarashi asks Yuuna about her past, but she only recalls waking up at Yuragi Inn. She's happy with many friends, but still unsure of her lingering regret. Kogarashi has a nightmare where Yuuna goes to hell. He wakes beside Yuuna and, as usual, flies out the window into the sea. With a beautiful sunrise, they splash each other playfully. They play in the sea as Kogarashi vows to keep Yuuna good until she finds peace.